Hello everyone. I want to introduce you to a series of activities that will support you with your classroom management as the district begins their district-wide one-to-one rollout. So in this particular series, we're going to start with a few features that will be important to you and your students. We're going to introduce you to a few vocabulary terms, and we'll be talking about a couple of specific areas. So let's get started. Let's go ahead and add a student. If you follow my red light here, I'm going to add a student. This will be my shelf, this whole area here. So we'll add a student. Let's do that now. And we want to put our email address here. So if you've activated your student email account for the district, this will be a fairly easy process. So let's go ahead and input some information. And make sure that the students actually check all the information that they are putting in these cells so that when they put their password in, everything will be a go. Let's see how this works. So I'm adding a student into my account. We'll give it a minute. And once you add that particular student or that student adds themselves to their new Chromebook, they will have the option to actually create a profile picture. And that profile picture will land over here in this particular area called the status area. I'm going to select a profile picture. I think I'm going to go with the actual, that'll work. The student can also take a photograph of themselves here, and then they will upload from their file area. And we'll show you that later. Let's go ahead and select our profile picture. We're going to click OK. That's going to be right here. And you see that automatically our profile picture populates on the shelf in the status area. So it says, Howdy, Deborah. You can have your students to go ahead and take the tour if you like, but I'm going to bypass the tour so we can get on to a few more pertinent things. As I mentioned earlier, we're going to talk about the shelf. Everything down here is on our shelf. You have your app launchers and you have your apps. Also right here is your status area. Let's go ahead and begin the process with talking about the shelf. If you give your right click, it will come from a two-finger tap or a two-finger touch right on your mouse. So with knowing that information, I'm going to do a two-finger tap. And I will have the option to either hide my shelf, reposition my shelf from the shelf position, and I can set my wallpaper. Your students may not be able to set their wallpaper. They may not have that option. But let's go ahead and reposition our shelf. Let's say I want it to the left. So now my shelf has been repositioned to the left-hand side of my screen. All right? I'm going to go ahead and give a right finger, two-finger tap. I'm going to reposition my shelf to the bottom. And I want us to talk about the status area. When we're looking at the status area over here, and I think this is an important area for students to know because they're going to need to be able to do a few things. First of all, they will need to be able to check how much battery life they actually have left. And that's important at the beginning of the school day or when you begin your instruction. So right now I have 4 hours and 29 minutes of battery life. I think that's enough to carry me for a distance of my instructional day. If your students come in and let's say 8:30, they only have an hour of battery life left, you probably can have them charge it up when they go to recess. Also, if your students are taking their devices home, you may want to have them put them on the charger during their lunchtime at school, okay? Also, looking at a few more areas, we have our battery life here, if you see my red light. Then I'm going to actually go to our settings. I want to show you a few features that will help us when it comes to our accessibilities. Right now, I'm going to show you how to populate the accessibility area right up here. So when you click on settings, you're going to scroll down until you see like the show advanced settings. You're going to tap on that, and you're going to scroll all the way down where it says accessibility. Take your time, accessibility. And I want to show some of these features on in my actual status area. So I'm going to tap here, and I'm going to close this window out. Now I have my accessibilities here. Will you need to do that for every device? No, you won't. Just those students who have a few disabilities, like they may be some visual impairment and things of that nature. So you also have in this area, you have your Wi-Fi connection. For our students, their devices will automatically be activated to the Wi-Fi, so they won't really need to be able to access their Wi-Fi connection. Bluetooth, this is my mirror projecting area. You have your volume area here as well. Okay? You also have your shutdown button here, and kids can sign out. I recommend that you have kids to sign out of their accounts either while their device is charging or at the end of the day. So if you have their devices charging at lunch, make sure they sign out of their devices. Reason being is because that's when their updates are going to take place when they turn their device back on. So let's go ahead. We've looked at the status area. We've also created a profile. Let's take our eyes over here to our app area. This is called the app launcher. It's not called all of those three dots. It's not called the waffle. It's not called the grid. It's called the app launcher. So let's go ahead and tap on that. You will have some apps that will be populated in your app page. This line here means that I have 2 pages. The blue line says that this page is activated. This gray bar here, this gray line, horizontal line, tells me that I have a second page. And if I tap on that horizontal line, I'll see the second page of my apps. But I'm going to go back over here to the app page. Your students, when they tap on Web Store, it will probably tell them that they need to have access. You will be the only person able to push out apps to your students. They won't be able to purchase apps. You can also create folders. For example, if I wanted my calendar and my mail app in the same folder, I'm going to simply tap and hold and just lay it right on top of the other app. You can see that circle forming behind. Now I have an actual folder for those 2 apps. Can I add other apps to it? Yes, I can. Let's say I want my Sheets app inside of that folder. So now, as you can see, I have 3 apps in this particular folder: Mail, Calendar, and Sheets. But I need to give that particular folder a name because all the other apps down here, they have names. So I'm going to call this what should I call it? How about Every Day Folder? All righty. And then we're going to go ahead and see that we've just made this particular folder. Moving forward, in our app launch area, we have looked at our app launcher, and now we have some more apps. Your students will have some apps that will be preloaded on their device, and they will be placed on their shelf. Right now, you won't be able to pin and unpin your apps from your particular shelf. That may change in the near future. For that little bit of time, we've added our students to our account. We went to Add User. We put in our email address, our password. Then we were able to actually choose a profile picture over here. We talked about the shelf, which is here. We talked about the app launch area over here, your app launcher, status area over here, where we have the clock, Wi-Fi connection, battery, profile picture. Okay? If you're able to actually select a profile picture, a wallpaper, you're going to right-click, would be a 2-finger tap or 2-finger click. And let's say we're going to set our wallpaper. This information will pop up. You have these particular icons, and you have your themes: landscape, urban, colors, nature, and you can custom make it. If you custom make it, you can pretty much upload an image from your hard drive, or you can take a screenshot. It will populate in your hard drive, and you can save it there. Let's go urban. Urban. What do we have? Oh, I like that. So I'm going to select that one there. And then I'm going to close out my screen, and I will see my wallpaper has been changed. There's one feature that I neglected to tell you about in the app launch area, and I think it's important, so I'm going to go back and share that with you. In your app launch area on your first page, you're going to see files. This particular app is going to take you to the very little storage space that you have on your Chromebook. If I tap on that app, I will get this particular screen here. I can either upload things to Drive, download things to my Drive, and it's going to tell you what things are pinned offline, things that download, and over here, anything that you are saving on this little bit of hard drive, it will populate here. Okay? So, for example, if I take a screenshot of my page, and I'll show you how to do that later. Let's say I want these particular items here. This window is telling me that I have a screenshot. So I'm actually going to tap on that before it disappears. And see now, the screenshot is actually in my files area. This app here is telling me, because there's a white line under there, this is the app that has been currently activated. So yes, you can rename that, and you can do your right click or two-finger tap, go down to rename, and let's say I'll call it the wall for now. Alrighty, so you see at the bottom that my actual picture is populated there. Let's go ahead and look at it. All right. And that's the screenshot that I've actually taken of my wallpaper. Okay? This will probably give your kids about 30 to 45 minutes time. You know, you want to give them time to play around with it and things of that nature. So have fun with Series 1.